There have been many powerful Jedi in Star Wars, each with their own strengths and achievements. But among all the Jedi, there is one that stands out for a spectrum of reasons, and that Jedi is Yoda. While we do know quite a bit about his abilities, his past is something that has eluded us for the longest time, and despite being one of the most popular characters, there is very little known about him or his past. But, as it would turn out, there is actually quite a bit we know about Yoda and his past, or more specifically, how he became a Jedi and what his original life plan was. So join me as we explore the unsolved mystery about Yoda and his path to becoming a Jedi from Legends. The story starts off with a young Yoda and his human friend whose name is unknown on a planet that is not recorded on any Jedi archives. As they grew up, Yoda had no knowledge of himself being force sensitive and sought out the life of a simple merchant who travels the core worlds and sells exotic goods. This is because Yoda never really sought out the most luxurious lifestyle, but rather wanted to make a simple living and explore the galaxy. And so to begin his journey as a merchant, he and his friend would leave their home world and start their new life. Unfortunately though for the two friends, their path would soon be disrupted when their ship was damaged by an asteroid and was unable to make it to their next destination. And because of this, the two of them would spend multiple days stranded in the void of space, as their life support system and rations slowly dwindled away until all that remained was barely enough food for even one of them. And for them, this seemed like the end of the road as it would die a slow and agonizing death in the emptiness of space. But before they lost all hope, a single world was picked up on the ship's radars, and by the will of the Force, they had just enough fuel to make it there. The world was a foggy swamp planet similar to Dagobah, but Yoda and his friend did not care, and instead were just glad that they weren't going to die of lack of oxygen. But because their ship was very damaged, they couldn't repair it, but they could send out a distress signal, and they spent many days there alone, and that was until they were both found by a Jedi Master who, in a way, was in self-exile to study the Force. He was known as Nakata del Gormo, and after spending time with the both of them, discovered that they were both very strong in the Force. And after explaining all of this to the two weary travelers, Nakata would offer Yoda the role as an apprentice, and he would accept. And for the next 2 weeks, they would train, and the two friends would show an extreme Force affinity, so much so that by the time they were rescued, they already were Jedi Knights, just without their lightsabers. And finally, after the rescue, Yoda and his friend would make it to the core worlds, but not as merchants, but instead as Jedi. As they welcomed him to the temple on Coruscant, it was soon discovered that Yoda was indeed Force sensitive, and actually had one of the highest midichlorian counts of all time. But due to his lack of proper training, he was not as refined as other Jedi. But as we know, he would soon be involved in something known as the Gathering to finally make his green lightsaber. And after many more years of exploring the galaxy and helping others, Yoda would be granted the rank of Master at the age of 96. Unfortunately though, sometime within this era, his master Nakata del Gormo would die, and as a way to remember him, Yoda would adopt Nakata's backwards way of talking. And due to him showing an exemplary understanding of the Force and his achievements, he would be granted a seat on the Jedi High Council. And during this period, he would take on many Padawans and train them to knighthood, and was soon recognized as an excellent teacher. And soon he was the head of the Jedi Academy on a starship. However though, this streak of good luck was short-lived, as the Academy soon crash-landed on the Night Sister world of Dathomir, and the Jedi led by Yoda would soon engage in multiple fierce battles with the Night Sisters, until Yoda finally tried to talk with them and make peace instead of senseless violence. And that would be a success, as the Night Sisters allowed them to leave, but on the condition that they left behind their datapads of the ship so they can study and learn from them. But while Yoda did follow through with this, he also gave them no way of understanding it, and for hundreds of years, nothing of major importance happened until around 400 BBY, when he was recognized as the greatest Jedi of all time, even being compared to other Jedi Grand Masters. But around 200 BBY, things would have taken a dark turn, as a dark presence seemed to have engulfed the entire galaxy. And after a very long meditation with every Jedi Master, they soon found out that the dark side was returning and stronger than ever, and there was a very high possibility of the Sith returning. But as mass confusion and worry set in, Yoda helped calm things down by suggesting that this could mean the Chosen One was coming, who would bring balance to the Force and destroy the Sith for good. But this would have many unforeseen consequences. Many Jedi started to incorporate fear and the dark side into their teachings, and Padawans started to use the dark side. And this would lead to a permanent exile of a group of young Jedi who study the dark side of the Force. And roughly around 100 BBY, a young Serenian male Force sensitive would be brought to the temple, and that boy was Count Dooku. And while Yoda may not have directly trained him, that job fell upon Thame. Yoda did train with the boy a lot until knighthood, when Dooku took on his own apprentice, Qui-Gon Jinn. And the rest of the story, as we know, is history. It is so cool to see how one of the greatest Jedi of all time came from someone who just wanted to be a simple merchant. But anyway, that is the story of how Yoda became a Jedi. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and comment your favorite fact about Yoda. And with that, my fellow Star Wars nerds, may the Force be with you.